Humility is having a modest opinion or estimate of one's own importance and not viewing yourself as better than another person. Humility can oftentimes be misplaced as a performance weakness when in actuality, if practiced the right way, can become the glue that holds the team together and creates the strongest morale. Humility is built on a foundation of selflessness, that is, putting others before yourself. In order to practice an attitude of humility, one must have a level of self-awareness that allows them to understand their relevance to the world around them. I'll never forget my first team meeting with Hall of Fame coach Tony Dungy and the Indianapolis Colts. I was a rookie and very nervous about being in a meeting room with some of the greatest NFL players in history, like Peyton Manning. Coach Dungy began to speak, and what he said was surprising and powerful. It went something like, "Men, my job here in Indianapolis is to build a family." Now, in all my years of playing football, I had never heard a coach lead with that belief. Typically, it was about defining our goals and outcomes and how we would achieve them. But instead, Coach Dungy focused first on the human condition of the players and team. In football, the acronym used for family is "Forget about me, I love you." It means that in order to build the strongest team, we need to practice the behavior of selflessness, which places the priority on team victories and servant leadership. Servant leadership is focused on the improvement of the person through humble principles like virtue, generosity, understanding of strengths and weaknesses, loyalty, commitment, accountability, and more. Let's consider the psychology behind humility to understand how it is in fact a strength that has a direct correlation to culture. We can also understand humility as a character strength. As such, it is an essential component of moral character that is manifested in modesty, being empathetic, acknowledging and respecting others at a deeper level, and accurately understanding as well as owning our limitations. As a character strength, humility can be viewed as the opposite of pride, arrogance, and an inflated sense of our importance and talents. It is based on a fundamentally caring and compassionate attitude towards others. Finally, we may also think of humility as a specific mindset. After all, it is a crucial aspect of what Carol Dweck has described as the growth mindset. In Dweck's framework, humility entails not just admitting our shortcomings, but actively seeking to overcome them. It is about a general readiness to learn best practices from others and learn from our failures. Humility is therefore intricately related to learning and teachability, a way of being that embraces constant self-correction and self-improvement. Humility is also connected to better learning and problem solving because the humble person is more willing to learn and does not allow the stubbornness born out of arrogance and ego to get in the way of self-improvement. Now let's discuss the obstacle of how we practice humility. An example of practicing humility with staff would be admitting when you're wrong. There will be many times in a workplace environment when a specific task or exercise was performed incorrectly or not up to expectation. This is an opportunity to take responsibility for your actions. As a leader or manager, it could be a poor job of communicating that has a negative impact on your staff. This is an opportunity to admit your shortcoming. Great leaders practice humility because it builds trust and loyalty. An example of practicing humility with customers would be asking them more questions about themselves and their children, rather than talking about yourself or the business. Find the right balance in promoting the Conquer Ninja brand and making the customer feel valued and important. Also, as you get to know your customers, you will learn truths about them and their beliefs, which you may disagree. This is when practicing humility reveals itself through a non-judgmental position designed to help customers feel respected. If a customer leaves feeling accepted and valued, then they'll return every time. Now let's take a moment to discuss how to develop humility in your gym. Here are a few examples that you can utilize, but our ultimate goal is for you to create your own ways of developing and practicing humility. One option is to develop community service opportunities to attend and serve once a quarter as a team, and follow up with a group discussion about how the experience had an impact. The second option could be humility huddles, manager-led weekly huddles designed to be brief in length, focused on the manager asking their own team how they can improve as a leader. This exercise is the owner's or manager's opportunity to lead by example. If team members experience a manager practicing humility, they will be more inspired to follow. A third option would be empathy engagements. Create team sessions focused on the sharing of personal, inspirational, or motivational stories that have had a significant effect on the individual's life. This will promote empathy between team members, resulting in selfless attitudes that will build more trusting relationships. Lastly, humility practiced by leaders is essential because it ultimately has the greatest impact on team unity and engagement. Leaders set the standards of performance, and when they lead by example through humility and a selfless disposition, they create work relationships built on trust, respect, and commitment. These are behaviors that will ultimately lead your team to championship success because they focus on creating deeper and more valuable working relationships. Humility is a belief that is foundational for our CEO, Jake Marshman, who views humility as accepting responsibility for when you are wrong and being able to acknowledge your weaknesses. Equally supportive, our COO, Zach Braid, believes that humility is putting your team and mission before yourself, along with serving others as you would like to be served. Join us at Conquer Ninja Gyms as we practice the belief of humility.